Hello. I'm late by like an hour. Thought you could weasel out of a stream just because of work. Well, I mean, it was good work, right? But yeah. Yeah, we finished. We finished. So here I am, chat. You got me whether you like it or not. Did. You got me whether you like it or not. So hi. How are you? I doing? How you doing? Wild Child, what's happening? Paint Liquor, Nick Pie, what's happening? Tony, what's going on? Brewling. Hope everybody's doing well. I couldn't live a day without you guys. Come on. We got done. We were packing up, and I was like, it's only 2:45. I bet I could do this. So here we are. Here we are doing the thing. Painting with swamp water. My water cup is disgusting over here. Like, I wouldn't swim in water like that. Let me be honest with you. I definitely would not swim in my water cup. Katarina, what's going on? Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. I couldn't go a day without seeing everybody, so here we are. We shot our new commercial today. Jordan decided to be sick. Freaking guy. He was coughing yesterday during the stream, so I think that got the best of him. Better that he stayed home. But timing, man, timing. I was like, when I thought about it, I was like, oh no, the stream. Hour late. Good to go. Have some fun. Tell some bad jokes. Some painting done on this guy, hopefully. Still exploring color on him. I have no idea what I really want to do with this guy. Gonna figure it out as we move. Move along, move along. Move along. Move along, move along. These are not the droids you're looking for. Mo, what's happening? Love your face. Hello. You're stuck with little old me today. That's it. Just me. I show everyone your last commercial when you throw the dice on in the active 40 game. Oh, that was so good. We had somebody comment, you did not just pick up dice from a D&D table and throw it into a 40K game, did you? And I think we responded with, oh yeah, we did. And you're not the boss of us. We'll do it again. It was so good. Now, somebody explain to me, does he have a finger back here that I just can't see? I guess maybe he does. No, he doesn't. He only has 3 fingers on this hand. Unless that's a pinky down in there. Must be. Yeah, it must be. I can't imagine the sculptor missing a finger. It must be. Holding the cup between his middle and ring finger on his left hand, right? But then the pinky finger is almost non-existent on the model, so little odd, little odd. Make it work though. Go ahead and paint the base color for everything on his open skin, regardless if it's supposed to be sinew or bone or muscle or tendon or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and base it with this dark camo green just to have the same start, and so I can identify the parts on the model for what they are. We'll have to go back in and change the coloring because, like, up here on his arms, I feel like, unlike the hands where it looks like I have skin draped over bone, even though it's emaciated, you know, and paper thin, here I have like delineations, stark delineations on where bone tissue and other stuff is. This doesn't look like there's any skin at all. It looks like it's just the draped flesh or muscle over bone. A little hard to navigate, but we'll figure it out. Everybody's Tuesday's going good. Your Monday ended well. Three-fingered Joe. Yours also has I think there's a pinky up in there. Can you see? Right there. That's a pinky. It's done like this. His pinky's like this, right? He's holding the glass like this, right? Middle finger, ring finger. Glass is in here, right? Like this. And his pinky's pulled back into his palm, right? It's an odd choice because you can't really tell easily right there. I'm pretty sure that's his pinky, that little sliver. That's what we're going to go with anyway. Great sculptor, designer, artist involved on this, so cut him a little slack. They have a better understanding of what they were trying to pull off than I do. I saw him in pieces on your post, Mo. Got him built. Gonna be brave. You gonna follow along? Gonna chicken out because I'm gonna do non-metallic metal. Now might be your moment. This might be our time, Mo. Time to shine, baby. All these years. This might be it. It's all come to this moment. Right? It all comes down to this. Burlick, if you have enough energy after work, you're going to start on assembling your entry for the May challenge. Nice. Raid your bits bin for anything that remotely resembles vehicle parts and go with cutting and gluing. Nice. The gauntlet has been thrown, Paint Liquor. Walking harder is like, Mo, I expect to see your work after stream. Tony, for anyone, any tips on making an oil wash? You've got odorless thinner and some oil paint. I've tried a few times, but I don't think it's working right. It looks really grainy rather than like a wash. If only someone has an acrylic medium that can make your PA act like oil paints. Someone should get on making that. I have some right here. I don't know what you're worried about. I have some right here on my desk. Evil bastage. The Road Girl academic bust would be a great paint along for all of us. Yeah, it'd be a great one. It would definitely be a great mechanism for doing a paint along. It's a great sculpt. But we would have to wait until it speaks to me. All right. Where the skin is. I feel like on the skin, I almost want to just go straight into like white blue. Into my dark camo green. Is that a thing? Ska Mage, what is going on?
Somebody likes us.
And I have a head start. Well, I mean, that sounds like a you problem. What are you doing, man? I'm sitting here babbling, trying to figure out colors. You don't even have to figure out colors. I've already figured out the first 4 for you. I think I've only used... Oh, no, I used 3 colors here, didn't I? 4 colors on this already, right? Yeah. Payne's Gray, Dark Plum, Burgundy, Burnt Red. And then here I don't remember. Black Brown, Warm Brown, Khaki mixed in. That's it. You've already got all your colors figured out for you, Mo. This ain't hard. Kind of a neat color, actually. Okay. Uh, yeah. I don't understand how they're having a problem. You've tried resending it? Okay. Yeah, they can. Again, this may not be anything I need on this arm because of the fact that this probably isn't skin. It's probably all bone and muscle tissue. Go ahead and put it on there. And sorry, Jen came in and asked me. Jen came in and asked me a question. That's what I was talking about. I just forget. People come in and ask me questions, and I don't. I'm just like, sounds like I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to myself, Chad, I swear. You know I still hear the voices. Well, there is truth in those words. Cool thing about Pro Code is always good weather for it to ship in. Yeah, definitely. Only reason you're here is to find out when new paints and brushes come in stock? Ah, dead to me. You're dead to me. We're more than just a delivery service. Not by much, but a little bit. Goopster, what's going on? When is the next paint release? Well, gosh. I don't know. We were hoping this month, but I don't think we're going to make, I know we're not going to make May. When we do the Signature Series stuff, the next set that's coming out is a Signature Series set. 2 Signature Series sets at that, if all goes well. And it takes a lot of contract stuff, and the contracts are not signed, so I can't go forward until contracts are signed. So we're working through all that stuff. T. Schmid, what's going on? Good to see you, Scott Mage. Who do we have to peer pressure to get the paperwork moving? I mean, why is Baby J dead? California. Always blame California if you have an opportunity. He went to California, and he got sick. So, that's kind of all you need to know, right? California makes you sick. That should be their state motto. Welcome to California. Makes you sick. Dark purple. Dark purple. Yeah, Mo, he went and played cards with a bunch of Cheeto-fingered gamers over the weekend. Came back, got sick. Although Jacob says that's not true because Jacob's fine. So, I don't know. I don't know, chat. See if he pops in here. Jess, what's happening? What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. Sorry we got started late today. We did film our latest commercial today. Lots of fun going on with that. I only took one behind-the-scenes shot on my phone, unfortunately. We were having so much fun, we forgot about all the BTS stuff we normally do. We don't have a lot to show you. I have one shot, and it'll pretty much say it all. So give me a minute, and I'll show it to you. I love these initial stages of a display model where you're just kind of slapping color around and it looks horrible, like clown suit horrible. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why is the metal purple? Hey, you just stop asking questions there, Toots. Don't think I'd paint that metal purple. It doesn't look very good that way. flashes with the reds and the greens, and I don't understand why you didn't paint his hands more either. I'm feeling it out. This is the discovery phase. The most important phase of every model. It really isn't, but it really isn't. Blank model is so scary. You know me, I just like throwing paint at it. Like, it can't hurt anything, right? Prime it, put paint on it. Make sure you paint thin enough that you're not causing yourself a lot of damage if you wind up with a color you don't like. Doesn't take anything to clean it up. You need to kind of tone down the slap happy brush strokes though. I forgot I already did some texturing and graining on the skirt and the leather, so I don't really want to get color all over them. Like, oh, I did kind of paint that with a purpose, even though I don't know that my colors are what I want them to be. Kind of spend some time. You listen to people say paint bravely, have no fear, that kind of stuff. It really is a resounding truth that you're not doing brain surgery here. Nothing bad is going to happen other than a little bit of frustration for time spent in a way that you don't benefit from if you happen to get something down that you don't like. Never be afraid to throw color back at it. I find this to be very soothing, even though sometimes it is scary. Scary in the sense that, I don't always know where we're going with color, but I always know I'll enjoy where I get with color. They just take me a little bit longer to work around from the opposite direction I had in mind, or maybe I get one of those weird mistakes where you're like, oh, that doesn't look good, but I can see where that's going. Push it a little further. Right now, the purple is a shadow color for the metal. Plan on looking at making this a very cold bronze style color. So I'm giving it just a little bit heat via this purple. When dark purple is your warmest color, you know where you're headed. And that's not true. Technically, it won't be my warmest color because I will use some colors with yellowish hues here, but not very much. And they'll be very desaturated, like the khaki. I plan to use a lot of khaki on that. Khaki has fast become one of my favorite mixing colors. I haven't noticed. Rock you've been sleeping under if you have. There's some purple. Purple wrapped around, boom. I'm just doing the waist area right now. I'm not committing to the whole model in case I don't like where we're going. If the colors don't line up and I decide I want to change one, especially the armor, because he's mostly armor. So if I go ahead and base everything purple and then I don't like it, I'd rather not have to redo everything. So I'm willing to spend some time just figuring out that waist area. And then if I don't like it, we'll just change that one. Picture. I was going to show you a picture. So, chat. Today, I don't know if you've ever seen our commercial. I don't know if you've ever seen the wackiness that ensues here at Monument Hobbies. It says, today can go F itself, but at least there's some Monument Hobbies to take the edge off. What? I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Mo says, I did my metal purple too. Russian spies have better immune systems. Not wrong. Here's what we're doing today. Kind of a flashback to one of our previous commercials. We have zombies in cages again. There are zombies in cages, but now there is a half-naked man with a fishing rod and meat on the end of it. He's antagonizing the zombies in the cage. Half-naked man, but live on video. He is on camera, by the way, with a fishing pole dangling meat in front of zombies. And this man's filming it. That's Christmas Sushi filming it. He's letting this happen in his presence. This could be an OSHA call, right? I feel like this could be an OSHA call. He's way too close to the forklift tines with no socks. I'm not sure what's going on there with those socks, or lack thereof. He's very close to the forklift tines. He's not paying attention to this whole Humane Society issue going on here. And yes, that's how it works. So Baby J went home after you let him out of the cage. He didn't show up to go in the cage. That might be why he stayed home today. He was afraid he was going to have to go in the cage. And this video is all Jen. I'm not even in it. It's all Jen and a half-naked man and Pro Acryl. It's so good. Wait, butt? I just showed your butt and your lack of socks. Lack of socks. That's Chris. It's his fault. He's the one shooting this stuff. Socks on. He says he has socks on, but they're not even. I saw all your ankles and no socks. So they're not. They're great socks. They're like booty socks. They're like footsie socks. It was on one of the. On my butt. What is so that? Good. So good. So good. That's awesome. They had one more scene. How did it go? Oh. Okay, cool. Christian nailed it. Awesome. Perfect. We forgot one scene, so they had to film one scene after I left. That's how much I love you guys. I came to stream. There was still a scene to shoot. But I'm not in the commercial, so it doesn't really need me. I trust them. I trust them. And inside that meat on the end of the fishing rod, a full set of Monument synthetic brushes, and I can't believe it's not oil wash. That's why they're going crazy for it. Mo's like, I have no words. Oh my God. Where's Jen? Hey, Jen, bring your phone over here. Can she hear me? I should have told Christmas Sushi to have Jen bring her phone over. She took another shot. Yaret Sonny said, what's it like to work for Jen and Jason? Well, Jen makes us strip down to our underwear and puts us in a cage. So are you hiring? Are you hiring? You just kind of assumed Monument had a really lax dress code. It's not quite that lax. That's a friend of ours. So for those of you that have been around the stream for a long time, that was actually Uncle Touchy. So if you remember from back in the day, Uncle Touchy, right? Like back in the day, Uncle Touchy was in the commercial. He had his swim trunks on the whole day. Every now and then he put on sunglasses. But other than sunglasses and swim trunks and some weird shoes that like each toe is individual in his shoes was really weird. That was all he's wearing. So yes, we're using the objectification of a human being to sell paint. Yeah, Arctic. I can't stand it. It gives me anxiety to think about things between my toes. Like I was staring at his feet while I was trying to say, is that real? And it was like making me feel weird. I honestly have a weird aversion to things between my toes. I can't stand it. Like I can't wear the flip-flops with the thing between your big toe and your other toe. I can't do it. I have to wear the sandal that has the loop over the top of your whole foot. I can't do I can't do it. It really is. I don't have. I can't really think of anything I have that makes me feel that way. Isn't that weird? Like if I have things between my toes, just, like just standing here talking about it is making me anxious. Coming? I think Chris says she's coming. Explains the lack, I'm sure. I sent him a text the other day, and I said, hey, are you in good shape right now? And he's like, pretty good. And I was like, you want to come be naked on a commercial? And he was like, sign me up. He was like, sign me up. I think it actually was a little different. I think if I go back, he said, can I wear these? And I said, sure. And so that's what he wore. He wore those trunks. Like he literally has those trunks, and he brought those trunks. I said, hey, you interested in doing a spot in a commercial? Are you in shirt off, fit shape? We want a shot of a dude rubbing Jen's shoulders. That's how I sold him. He says, lol, sure. He goes, do you need me to have a tan or a sunburn? He said, should I leave the chest lettuce or do you want to wax me live on stream? This is the person we're dealing with here, chat. He said, just shirt off or do you want me to be in bikini trunks? And I said, yes. It's so good. So good. But anyway, that's why everybody needs that friend that's willing to do whatever. Right? Like kind of a nails on a chalkboard thing, Mo. I mean, kinda, I guess. I don't even know that it's that, right? It's not like an auditory, like, it's like a thing. Yeah, with like your BTS thing. You just came in with mad face. Oh, you took shots of all sorts of stuff. Look. Now, the problem with this shot is this is Jen's office. And now Jen wants the purple light the whole time. So now we've just cost ourselves a lot. We gotta sell more paint, guys. Yeah. We need a GoFundMe to get Jen a constant purple light. There's Christmas sushi. Trying to figure it all out. Planning. That's great. Are you guys ready? I don't think you're ready, chat. So Mo does. So I don't know if you guys are ready, chat. Are you ready? I need to know if you're ready. I need to know if you're ready, chat. Let me know. You got to be ready. Because you're born ready, says Paint Liquor. Are you ready? Because this next one's pretty good. Are you ready? I thought I was ready. I was not ready. I no longer want tea. It's so good. It's so good. And then we have zombies, and we already showed them that one. It's good. That's good. Fantastic. Thank you, babe. I thought I was ready. I was not ready. Arctic's like, well, my day just got 1,000% better. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So, this is just a slice of what it's like to be part of the Monument Hobbies family. I would like to send this out into the universe so that we constantly attract the right kind of individuals that want to be a part of this family. We do crazy stuff. We have no shame, and we don't really apologize for it. No, we didn't do the grapes. We didn't do grapes. It took us forever just to find that lawn chair. Like a horribly colored, like 70s kind of lawn chair. We did the lawn chair, and it was fun. Fun was had. It was good. Oh, so good. And not just like 3 of the scenes we did. We did 6 scenes, I think. 6 if we include the Christian one that they shot when I was not there. Christian, one of our wholesale guys. Christian was the Swami in our last commercial, if you'll remember. We might have resurrected the character of the fortune-telling Swami for this one as well. This is some dark yellow-green mixed with dark purple, which makes a really disgusting, like, Nurgle snot color. Paint with that. That'll start giving us the base for our bronze, or whatever the heck color we wind up calling this at the end of the day. I think I'm done fighting with my challenge mech. It's starting to piss you off. What's going wrong with it? What's the problem? Today was definitely a ton of fun, though. And I think we kept getting work done. This time we kind of shot around everybody, so the whole crew was able to keep working. Production kept working. The whole office running today while we shot our commercial. The outstanding feat of excellence. Stonewall, you're having problems with your airbrushing coming out too dry? How do you mean? dry? Like, is it curing mid-air? Or looking very textured when you're doing it? Help me understand what dry means to you. How you're using that word. To like drying in midair, try airbrushing closer to the model, number one, and lower air pressure. High air pressure and distance to the model will cause the paint to cure midair, and you'll start getting speckling that is kind of abusive. So that's one way to attack it. Random username for promo. Did I miss Battletech painting? Do we still have Battletech up on the thing? I think we still have category Battletech. We have them here. We just switched over. I'm painting like an entire battalion of Battlemechs. If I zoom out, I have 42 as they come into focus. I have this ridiculous amount. We have 42 mechs and a dropship that we have been painting. And we're taking a break and painting a display model of a Death Knight. But yes, we've been working heavily on some Battletech. I apologize. I did not mean to rope-a-dope you with the stream title there. We normally leave it saying Warhammer all the time. Here, I'll change it. Not Warhammer. Warhammer. Bam. Done. Sorry. But yeah, we will be painting more Battletech. It is my current jam, as it were. I am painting an absolute crap ton of Battletech. We have got a campaign going. We just got a ton of terrain here, as a matter of fact, at the shop. Some of the Hex Tech stuff from, oh my gosh, Stoneforge? I don't remember. I'm horrible. Thunder or Thunder something. We went through this the other day, and I have not remembered what the heck it is. Thunder something. Thunderhead, yeah, Mo. We went and got quite a bit of stuff from them. They have 3D printed. You can buy the STLs for all their stuff, but we went ahead and bought it 3D printed already. It came in, so we got that. We're going to have some of the guys start painting up. Now I'm moving on to just dark yellow green by itself. If you're watching at home, trying to keep up with me here on the Death Knight, we're just making recipe cards. Moving on to just dark yellow green by itself right now. I will start setting up more reflective shadow and stuff. We'll leave this other side of the crotch plate without a whole lot of bright color on it. This pass. Quite a bit of moisture on my brush, but not so much that I get just a super thin glaze. Start just getting some of these smaller details, which looks like a lot of flame or something here on the embossed portions. And again, even though I'm using dark yellow green right now, it is the brightest color that I've used so far. Remember that when staging your non-metallic metal, for me at least, I like staying in darker tones to start building in all my light. Some people like to jump immediately into brighter colors. get those punchy contrasts built onto the model, and then work backwards into your midtones from there, that's perfectly fine as well. It's up to you. Just know that you are going to, at one point in time, want to make sure that a lot of your blending is all done down in the darker value ranges, because you need a jump off point that goes from really dark, or not really dark, but fairly dark, and then jumps up into brighter color. So I kind of want my brightness to be right along this line of the hip. Bring it out of the shadow, and then backwards from the belt line up into that as well. I want to catch it on this plate too. Timbo. I said I wouldn't stream today, and I did stream. So I'm a liar. But I feel like that's the kind of lying that doesn't really need to be apologized for, because it turns out okay in the end. Use the flat of the brush to catch those graving spots where they stand proud of the armor surface, so I'm not putting a lot of paint down on the actual flat part, catching the raised spots. Take the model when I need to. There's some leather straps along here, which is why you see some dark spots that seem a little out of place. Likely. Rito, I haven't been able to make the last few streams, so not sure if it's been asked. Is there any interest from you or Baby J to paint anything from the new Star Wars Shatterpoint? We had wanted to reach out and ask if we could get an advanced copy of some of the models. We'd paint them. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I love the models on some of those. You know, the game doesn't speak to me as much as a game, but the models are nice. I like the bigger scale. The more heroic styling of it, I think, is bitching for Star Wars. So, yeah, and I know that Jordan would paint. But I would love to put a brush to some of those models. I would be treating them more like one-off display style models more than gaming miniatures, though. And how you doing, man? Walking Harder asks, what kind of plastics are they made of? I would assume the same plastics that MCP are done in, the same hard plastic that MCP is done in, but don't catch me lying. I have not held them in my hand. And of course, I'm totally speaking for Baby J, even though he's out sick. So I don't. He might come back and say, "What did you say? I hate." He won't say I hate Star Wars. Are you kidding me? Nerd. He would never utter those words. Saw him on the LGS on Sunday. Yeah. Same as MCP. That's what I figured. Good scale. I really dig the look of them. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I know we're working in very gradual value differences as I go through these greens and purple base. I'm not jumping up to huge levels of brightness here. Kind of taking really easy, fast strokes towards and away from my shadows, towards this highlight spot, like right here on the top of the thigh, away from the shadows. Each time I put a paintbrush stroke down, it needs to be moving away from a shadow and up to the high point of that thigh so that I continue to get my blend on the metal. Start seeing how I'm getting a sheen on the metal, even though right now that's a really dull, like green metal feel. That keeps setting us up. The brighter we go, the shinier it gets. But very, very important to keep your brush strokes moving away from the shadow in this case and up to the bright spot, because that's the color I'm putting is a brighter color. And not get caught in that scenario where you just keep painting one direction and start pulling pigment down into the shadows where you're not going to want it. It may seem weird to be painting gold, bronze, whatever, with just greens and purples right now. You know, this dark yellow green has got obviously a little smattering of yellow in it that helps us move out of the coldness of the purple, but it's not, hyper gold. Right now, we're just blending like we would with just about anything. Any kind of color that we would be using. We're using the same style approach, right? To generate the base color for our metals. Now I want to start trying to add khaki into that dark yellow green, right? Khaki has been one of my favorite blenders right now. And especially when doing yellow metals, it works really well. Although you've seen me use khaki as the blender for steel, right? So all of the steel that we've been doing over here is being done with khaki as the adder. Oh, no, this was done with white blue, wasn't it? So I'm lying. What's the last one that I did khaki with the metal? Enzo's a good example. Right? All of this blue steel is all done with dark blue and khaki. Right? So all of this gunmetal style coloring is all khaki and dark blue mixed together until the very final end where we go in with bright neutral gray and pop a little brightness, because the khaki starts to get a little bit green as you add it to blue, because it does have enough yellow to still drag you into green as you get paler and paler. But we wanted that because we are doing this super pale green on the armor, right? So we wanted to make sure that we had that little bit of pale green reflective quality in the blue. So adding khaki gives it to you naturally. You don't have to glaze or... Paint Liquor's always like, Enzo! Wad, take it easy, man. Have some fun playing Alpha Strike. You should have a great time. You didn't realize they were in a larger scale? Larger scale than Legion, right? I think they're more like MCP. One can never have enough painted battle mechs. I kind of feel similar. I have 42 that are all in a pretty good state of painting. They still need some work. I have not finished highlighting one big group of them yet. We're getting there. Black Bladder, you have no idea how to jump from digital back to analog painting and have no undo button? You always have an undo button. You just got to paint it over. It's easy. Paint it again. It's not fun to do that, but, you know, you can. Now, here's a question. Can I get away with just yellow-green? I feel like the first level of this might just be yellow-green. I need to hit the bathroom real quick, guys. So I'm going to take a quick bathroom break and speak amongst yourselves, right? And I shall see you back in 5. Thank you, chat. I will say, it's very crazy. If you were going to buy a Evo Go bag, like if you had it in your head that you wanted a Go bag Evo right now would be the time to buy one. not going to lie. We are almost out of stock. It'll be about I think about a month. I think we're expecting the next round in early June. Gosu, the commercial was awesome. The commercial, if you weren't here earlier, I only have one behind the scenes shot that we took of the commercial.
Hey, somebody likes us.
That's Christmas sushi. That's Chris's butt because he got embarrassed when we showed his butt on stream, so we're doing it again. That's Uncle Touchy. Uncle Touchy's in a bathing suit with a fishing pole with raw meat on it. He's feeding our zombies. Those, of course, are our production zombies. They make the paint. So this is one of 6 scenes in our new commercial. So T. Schmidt, exactly, man. It's crazy, absolutely freaking crazy that I am sitting here thinking, oh my God, are we going to be sold out of Go bags, at like some crucial time? That we immediately after we saw how people responded to Go bags in January when we released them, we immediately placed another order from the factory. So we have production started almost instantaneously after round 1 hit. So we should be good, but there might be a little bit of a lag there. So if you did want one and you had a plan and you needed one sooner than later, jumping on them now would be a good idea. I think we're down to under 100 bags. So just a little forewarning for you there. I think that works. I'm just going to use yellow-green on its own. Because mixing khaki into dark yellow-green gives me a little bit more of a desaturated yellow-green than this. But I kind of like this, so we're going to go with it and see how we like it. Of course, yellow-green is what I've been using as the basis for the gold we've been doing on our Blood Angels, so you guys will be familiar with me using this color. Yellow metals, if you've been watching the stream for long. For that follow. And this is where we'll start to bring some of the edge contrast into play so that our metal will start to look like metal. And then, of course, the next color really starts to bring it out. And as we go brighter more and more and more, that's one of the reasons why I prefer to paint my non-metallic from dark to bright rather than starting with the bright initially. But that's up to you. Some people really like to have that brightness to show them where their shine is going so they have a direction to paint in. I set it up with that first darker highlight, I guess you might call it, and then just constrict it into that darker highlight every time I do a brush stroke. Whatever makes sense to you, put it to work. No hard, fast rule says either way is better than the other. It really just makes whatever clicks for you the most important thing. This has a lot of gilding on it, right? Or engraving, or however you want to call it, right? It has a lot of fancy schmancy stuff on his armor here. Gonna have to make sure we get detailing right on it. Angry Dwarf, you glad you found this stream? The pro paints that you guys sell just showed up at your local store. Awesome. You're new to painting, was suggested to try your paints out. You're not disappointed in the least. Keep up the amazing work. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and letting us know, and glad you found us here as well. Thank you for giving us a try, and even better that you enjoy it. We really did seek to formulate a paint that worked as well for you no matter where you were along your painting journey. And I know that kind of sounds sappy to say, but it was really important for me as a person that's been painting for over 40 years, right, that the paint appealed not just to people that already had the skill, because I mean, I'll be honest, there are old dogs with no new tricks, and it's very hard to, create a product that really draws you away from what you've done for so long. And so I wanted a product that did that, but at the same time, appealed to somebody that might be joining us on the miniature painting scene for the first time and really trying to find excitement and where they fit. So I'm glad that you're seeing that. Paints are easy to start out with and will grow right along with you. Do anything you want to do at any time as you're learning new techniques, figuring out new things. Doesn't matter whether you're trying to speed paint your first army or doing some hyper detailing on a crazy bust or competition piece. Our paints will go right along with you. Never skip a beat. I'm liking that a lot. We have been painting a ton of armies here lately. We just got finished doing the Battletech battalion for our mercenary unit. And I still have a little bit of work to do. I say finished. That would be a lie. But getting close to done with it, right? Done a few weeks working on that. Now we are palette cleansing, which seems to be my new modus operandi, if you will, is that I paint an army or two, and then I come back and do a palette cleanse with a complicated display piece. So maybe that's my new claim to fame. My own personal masochism. Paint 42 battle mechs, and then the Death Knight. Paint range you'd pick if you were stuck on a desert island with only one. You can only take one. Which one would it be? Yep. That was my goal. And that everybody would be able to say the same thing. Yep, if I could only have one paint range, it would be Acryl. We know we don't have all the colors yet, but we're working on that. I have to admit, we've always said that we doubt we'll ever have 300 plus colors. So if you need 300 colors, we might need to set you up with 2 paint lines on that island. But our colors mix so well that if I can get you mixing, you'll never skip a beat. You'll never be lacking for a color. You always notice that I paint the edges like what we would normally refer to as just our edge highlight edges. I'll paint them 2 or 3 times with each color that I go through. That's to ensure that all of my edges have a really, really good foundation for the blending along that edge, meaning that, I start with my darkest color, I'll go in and edge highlight them all the way until I get to my brightest color, always trailing off a little bit before the bottom, so that I keep brightening it up towards my light source. That way at the end, that edge will have a really, really nice continual fade up to my brightness. It seems redundant because I'll paint that edge 8 times, right? But once you get it out of your head that you're not painting for efficiency on this thing, you're painting for quality, then you can start to do the right thing. Hi. She's cute, right? So she got to play Supreme Actress. She is the face of the new commercial. So the entire commercial shoot was her and Uncle Touchy, which I think is great. Mike has been a longtime friend of the brand. To have him come and partake in the commercial was really awesome. It's awesome, isn't it? I'll have that mic on over there. You're leaving? Well, geez.
Time to go home.
Yeah, all right. Great job today. Everything's locked up?
Yeah.
Check the back doors?
Yep.
All right. Okay, cool. They're building up that shine line. It's like a cylinder. It flares out because it has bends in these plates, but it's still a cylindrical shine. So I'm still doing it the same way I would if it were just a standard cylinder. I just have to look at how the angles affected on each of these plates as I put the highlight on there. That was a hi Jen, bye Jen. Said gotta go pet the dog. Exactly what she said. Gotta go pet the dog. Here I'm using very, very light brush strokes. Barely touching the surface of the model. Don't want to smack the brush into the model very heavily. I'll leave too much paint when I do. Just very light. So it might take me 2 or 3 brush strokes to even get paint in the area I'm trying to paint. Because I'm busily just going like a pendulum stroke along it until I see the brush, you know, make the pendulum stroke with the brush, keep moving the brush closer and closer to the model until I start seeing brush strokes hit the model, right? So that I don't get a real heavy stroke time 1, right? And then when I start seeing myself hit the model, release pressure a little bit, start moving down the line of where I need color. Probably needs to extend a little bit further up here. About you guys, but I'm really digging this. I really like that purple shadow that I've got going on. Working very good. Works with the whole Death Knight necromancy thing. Purple, for some reason, is the color of warlocks and necromancers a lot of the time, so works well here. This is a weird one because it would go right along this line here. But dot, so I want to pull my color to that dot, but I have this strap of leather right across there, so make sure I don't overdo it. This is our money shot for him, so all of our light is going to be hitting off of his right shoulder, I think. Or kind of like right down this line here that I've set up. I haven't really been placing light yet until we're getting to this metal, so see how that goes. If you did this metal with a stippling motion, would it make a hammered looking metal finish instead of the polished brush look? So with metal, I tend to do this most of the time, and then I add my stippling as I go into my highlights. I don't do the stippling throughout because it gives it a lot of depth of texture that metal doesn't have. Now, if you're doing very highly like rusted or oxidized metal, then yeah, you could do that stippling quite a bit of the way. I tend to want to do this like I'm treating it as polished metal the whole way, and then as you get into your brighter colors, start doing that stippling. So I could start doing it with my next color probably, right? And then you would stipple your edges and things like that if you wanted to look really beat up. Remember that with wool and soft textures, we tend to use stippling all the way from base to highlight, and it gives it that layered look, like layers of hair or fabric or stitching over layers and layers and layers, where it has like almost like a pile carpet feel, right? You don't want to do that with metal in most cases, because it's going to give it a look that is not conducive to forming hard material in your mind. It makes it look soft because it does create layers, like the feel visually that there's a layer and a layer and a layer and a layer, and when you push on it, it might squish down. Or if it's a hard surface, that it's like quartz or granite, where you can see through the translucence of the hard material because it lets light through and hits the various materials that are in there and the veining, like marble and things. So you can do anything you want, just realize what the brain is going to recognize it as sometimes doesn't translate as well to the material you're trying to paint. In this case, metal, which has no visual layering. It's just a surface, and then any layering is going to be stuff on the top, right? Rust, dirt, oxidation, things like that. I might stipple an edge like this along a detail like this, so that I get that straight edge shine going on. And if I stipple it out, it makes it look like it has dents and dings in it a little bit. Like Jordan said yesterday, though, this guy's armor doesn't have a lot of dents and dings and scratches in it from the sculpt, whereas, I immediately thought, okay, Death Knight, right? He's going to be a little bit less well put together than, your formal knight guy, right? I mean, why would he be? He's climbed out of the ground or something, but this guy is fairly well put together, not going to lie, So, his armor is all nice and shiny, polished kind of thing. So I think the only thing I'm going to do is make it a little more tarnished. As opposed to like spit shine polished. Death Knights are some of the more powerful creatures in D&D, and I feel like that might be the kind of legacy that this is coming from, right? I never really asked about what the Death Knight story was with Mally and Tim, or from the artist, what is going on. This is a Journeyman Miniatures model. It's available in our store. Pick one up if you like it. It's a great, great model. A lot of good detail without being overboard, which is kind of my marker when painting display models, is I don't want it to be so far overboard that you have like GW levels of tchotchkes you got to paint. This guy's armor is very intricate, is the toughest detail that you'll have to deal with on him. That it has all the engraving on the armor and stuff, but I look at it and I think to myself, wow, it's perfectly set up for like a nice wash, right? If you layered a couple of metallic colors on this and then gave it a really good wash, just kind of paid attention to your wash so that it didn't just run willy-nilly all over the model, that you actually controlled where the wash landed, then I think you could do a really amazing job very simply on this guy. See how we're getting that dull metallic starting to show? And how our yellow greens are bringing us into the world of like dirty oiled bronze or brass. Colors you wouldn't think of for the material you're painting sometimes work the best. Rather than just jumping in and painting yellows. And not, you couldn't also make it look good, but sometimes that just makes it look like a dime store necklace. And I'm doing this with all synthetic number 1 brush of ours. And I'm running it pretty wet so that I'm getting a fairly translucent paint. Right, thinning it down as I'm applying it. Gives me the ability to get a really nice blended build-up on my color as I go. But it will take you longer doing this because you'll do, one extra coat generally of each color. It's not really a full-on glaze per se. Just a thin layer. It's funny, I don't really call it glazing if I'm not doing like 3 or 4 passes. But I guess it really is. A 2-layer glaze is still a glaze. A 1-layer glaze is still a glaze. This is just a 2-layer glaze. 3 on this section because I kind of tore it. A little bit too much texture right there. Stipple that. That gives us the shine up the thigh on that side. Powerful people in life, so they have very expensive things. They're like liches or something like that. I don't know anymore. I don't know what a lich is, actually. Are they in the service of liches or necromancers? Are they controlled, these Death Knights? Or are they individuals who do their own thing normally? It's a Baby J sighting. Arctic's like, oh, now he turns up. Oh, now he joins us. The illustrious Baby J, everybody. Tell him to get well quick. He's sick. He's sick. It's all that allegiance to chaos. He says, oh, no, it'll be fine. It never affects me. Nurgle's gift. Nurgle helped you out all right. It just wasn't what you were hoping for, right? You fell victim for that whole like chaos bait and switch. Oh, the grand gifts we shall do, the great things we shall achieve together, Baby J. Oh yeah, that sounds great. How much does it cost? $50? Heck, I'll give you that right now. Nurgle's down at the local pub, drinking it up with his buddies, laughing. Sucker born every minute. Thought my gifts were good. Stuck in the grip of chaos for all eternity. Yep. It's all on you, buddy. A little bit of a light glaze of the yellow green by itself over onto this side into the in-between parts to brighten it up versus this panel over here where it's still all the darker purples and purple green blends. That makes that side of the panel, because it does have an angle, right? If you look downward, it has an angle in the middle of that crotch plate. So we'll have more brightness on this side, less on this side. So we want to keep that being that way. So keep lightly brightening this up, and this just takes a very thin coat, right? So assume that the bottom layer is like this color that we've got going on. We want to be able to do this over the top of it, right? Still maintain a lot of that darkness. That way we can put that color when we know we've got it that way, right in there, down low, and still have the top sections that we brought out be brighter, not overtake the whole panel in a weird way. Brighten it up. Keep the contrast with all the engraving stuff that we've painted already. Starts looking pretty good. Now we have to create a color. We can't use bright yellow green here because I'm not trying to create green armor. Although, I'm not mad at the green. Right? Purple base into the green is not bad. So we could choose to do colored armor here, but I don't think I want to. I want to do the bronze. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the khaki into the yellow green now. I have a mountain of pale yellow on my palette. I need to clean my palette. Like, I literally have so much pale yellow from doing all those mechs over here. Like a 1/4 inch of paint buildup on my palette. All right. I can't just jump. I could just jump to regular khaki. I don't want to do that, right? So I'm going to take some yellow green and some khaki together. And the reason why we can't do bright yellow green is because it's too saturated. Here's the color where we want to start desaturating our green heavily. So this is what we got. Something like that. That's what we're looking for. So it is a big jump in value, right? It's going to start adding the shine onto our metal. So we're going to start having to put in nicks and dings and things like that on it now. I started the armor with, what do we start the armor with? Dark purple. Dark purple, Jordan, and then out of the dark purple, we mixed dark yellow green into the dark purple. That's going to look really good. Before we do the whole model, I'm going to have to mix some of this up in a bottle. Might want to do that right now, actually. I don't think I have an empty bottle here, though. And everybody gone. Dang it. There's never a gin when you need a gin. Sounds like a you problem. Dang it. Had a moment last night, you're using dark yellow green and was thinking, man, I wish I had yellow green and bright yellow green. Then you realize you have them. Ta-ta! That's the best feeling moment in the world, man. If only I had these other colors that I have. Holy cow, dude. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited, chat. Model's starting to speak to me now. Use my brush like a dry brush right there for a second. It was almost out of paint, so flatten the bristles out, drag it across the edges. Come back and line in and tighten those up because you'll have that quick blend almost that the, call it wet brushing did. Is that a correct term? Probably not, but. The only problem is that a #1 brush like I'm using can't get wet enough to do the blending on the palette I'm trying to do. So this is the type of moment where a wet palette would work better for me. Your minis keep giving you bad financial advice. They say keep buying more minis. #1, if your minis are talking to you, sell the house, move. Seen this movie? It doesn't end well. It seems fun, not fun. Taking most of the paint off on my thumb. That's why I go off screen with it. For those of you that are new to my style of painting, maybe haven't been here as long, I will tend to do most, if not all, of my thinning with the moisture on my brush. I don't use a wet palette. I don't put a lot of water into the droplet on my palette. Some of that. Wait for the actual brush stroke to occur and load the brush up with the right amount of water for the task at hand. That way the paint on my palette is always starting from the place I need it. I just adjust as I go. I'm liking that. Notice how this starts desaturating a little bit of the green out of there. It's still very green, which I'm digging, actually. I think whatever this color is I've created needs to be made too. I keep saying that. Like every stream, I'm like, ooh, this is neat. Set my brightness spot up first with just a quick brush stroke along that area, how I want it. Then I'll worry about feathering it back into the rest. A little bit down. But I'll do it by painting back into my spot, as opposed to don't take your line and try to drag it out further. You'll wind up with a big spot out here that's hard to blend. Always pull your color back in. It'll build up brightness where you want it and give you that kind of comet tail. Same thing over here, right? I won't just keep pushing that line from bright to here. My brush stroke doesn't go right to left here. It goes left to right. That will blend that tail of that color into the darkness around it, rather than give me a big blocky edge. May not seem like much, but it makes a huge difference on these types of deals. Keep feathering very lightly back into my other color. I want to do ding in the edge, put a pop of brightness there. Spot for like 2 right there. 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 Delta, salamanders are allowed to use combat squads. Oh yeah, split into smaller groups. 5 out of 10, right? Paint liquor, your Battletech scheme is sky blue primary with red-orange accents. Sky blue, red-orange. Color for the cockpit. Somebody said yellow. I tend to want to agree. Just quick reactionary answer. That brightness won't extend all the way back to this part, right? I start tapering it off, right? I've got a wider spot of brightness down here at the end of the thigh. Then it goes into smaller and smaller cones, if you will, as it moves up. Until it just has that dull shine from the previous one, since all that's in shadow. Might try going in very, very thin. Carrying the shine from the ledge above onto this shape. See how we have this bright edge up here where the panel overlaps? That would give us a little bit of reflection down below. Notice how I'm just trailing that very, very thin. Same bright color that I'm using, but it doesn't look at the same brightness right now because I've used it so thin. That drags a little bit of shine over there and creates that level change out of that depth. I did a little bit back here, but you don't need it as much. This side is where it makes the big. And we'll keep reinforcing that as we get the armor figured out. Am I leaving the fountain thing off? No, I'm just painting it separate. It's over here. I just don't know where I want to put it on him yet. And I feel like it could really mess things up if I'm not careful. Remember, on this side, our light is going to be brighter. So I'm going to blend further over here. It is dry in Arizona right now. Holy munchkins. the stairs as rock. They look like some sort of gnarled stone, sort of. I haven't even started thinking that far. That stuff doesn't matter yet. Way out ahead. You keep the brightness narrow on this side that gets away from the light. We can still add in shine down here if we need to. We can add in reflection of the cape. Once we have cape color, we can put that in the back side here if we really want to, right? But we've got our highlight in a very narrow band. Over here, we've extended that band quite a bit to match the fact that this side is getting a lot more light in our scene. Have the stairs be polished silver to make life miserable? No. No, we're not doing chrome stairs, friends. We're just not doing it. All right, now I can jump to khaki by itself. And this will be the brightest color we've used and is pretty much a yellow for all intent and purpose. You know, khaki's not super yellow, but it has enough of a yellow base to exist as a yellow on our metal. Remember, the eye will judge that based on the colors around it. So as long as we don't go with more yellow or warmth on anything right next to all of this, then the brain and the eye will look and say, oh, look, gold or bronze, even though the bulk of this is green. Rex, chatbot extraordinaire. mossy purple stone. Like some sort of magic stone feel to it. Yeah, I guess I gotta determine what I really want to do with the little um, urn thing too. Because Jordan had a good idea with giving it some form of a glow. Which could be really cool. And then having that glow come back on the model. I just did that on Horus, so I was kind of negative about it yesterday, but it may wind up that the model really wants something like that. We'll play as we get further along. Yeah, I'm just using pure khaki right now. For those of you following along or writing recipes. That's gonna look really good if I can pull that off on all these faces. I'm doing the easy part right now. Everything else sucks. Helmet sucks. Oh, why did I do the easy part first? Dark red OSL coming from the chalice. Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what color he was saying. I want to pull off a little bit of glow right in here. This edge. It's a subtle secondary reflection right through here of this, reflecting back into panels there. Doesn't have to be too blatant. Probably go a little bit brighter up top. Drop like a in here. Starting to look pretty good. What color did I block the flesh in with? Dark camo green, and then dark camo green mixed with white blue. But it could have very easily been faded green, probably. I think faded green's a little bit more green than that. No. Yeah, pretty much made faded green. It's the standard, hey, I want to see what it's like when it has the dark camo green base. The idea is for it to be lighter blue-gray, but I wanted to have it have like kind of a nasty moldered green base for it. So khaki, I've used it all. Do some bluish gray stone, like the floor of a dungeon gosu. Like how bright? Because I like that. We won't be doing a lot of silver or anything up here. He doesn't have a weapon, right? Same khaki right here. Just very, very thin. Sending it way down lets me get away with murder right there. Do that. I can take the one of the greens or the purples or the color of the robe later on and glaze it over the top of that. But it sets up where I want my shine highlight to be on that cylinder. Kind of right where I set that darkness to mid-tone dark green up. That'll inherit some color later. You plan on having any lights on the model or around the model? Nah, not right now. I'm just kind of having fun putting color on. I'll determine, I mean, our light is over here, kind of in this area, right? So it'll become more apparent as we do all of this metal up here, because you'll have this big, bright, hot spot on this side, right? And then I'll go back and tuck that into the leather and the skirt. I'm just doing this that we've done on the brown and the skirt right now to put color. Same with the flesh, right? Not really worrying too much on overall light or ambiance of the scene or anything like that. Darker gray with the blue really strong in the shadows and bring it up with light from OSL. Yeah, if we decide to do an OSL, I like all these concepts. I think it's just figuring out if that's what I want to do. Didn't I say that was thinking too far ahead? What? What are you talking about, Mo? I said you were thinking too far ahead. You were already into the stone color and all that. And now you got me pulled into these conversations. People are telling me I gotta paint the stone a certain way. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not there yet. Good conversation to have, though, right? You can get mesmerized with all the things you think you need to figure out because they're parts of the model. When you have to break those parts of the model down into important visual cues for the model, primarily, what are the parts of the model that you're going to be able to see and want to really get visual impact out of, right? Is one of the biggest things. We talk about it all the time. Do his shoes matter? Sometimes. You know, especially if the boots are like kicking in the face or something like that of a opponent in a scene, then that can be a thing. But, you know, generally no. So the stairs, while they hold the model, and they are the environment that he's sitting in, is this staircase, it doesn't really matter much to me. You know, I've seen other people do like lantern light, imagining that there's like a torch light on the wall. They have like a torch light on here. I just did kind of torchlit Horus. So I don't really want to do torchlight. I'd want to do something more magical if that were the case. If we were going to play around with that. But again, I'm not sure that it needs it, right? Depending on how all these colors really want to work and how this, you know, non-metallic turns out with the bronze once we get all of this other detailing showing up in it. Will play a huge part to determining all those things. I'm not the guy that, I mean, there are times where I say, figure out the whole scene. If you're doing a diorama, it's good to stage the whole diorama first so you kind of know where you're coming from, right? If you're not, look at me. Like, I haven't even touched this upper belt part. Like, am I insane? Did I not do anything on that? I didn't. I just literally did the thigh plate. And didn't even worry about the belt up here. I'm like, why is it different over here? Oh, look at that, dummy. So always be thinking about those things that give you the best visual cues on the model and focus on figuring out what works the best for those parts first. Until you go, you know, before you go full bore into trying to figure out what other cool things you could do. Because it might really come down to, you know, how do those parts of the model react together? How do they feel? What kind of storytelling do they do once you have color on them? You know, this bronze is going to be very overpowering, even though we're doing fairly dull colors, I mean, realize the brightest color is khaki, right? I always like to show off things like, look at white blue, how much brighter white blue is than khaki. And then if you want to think that's crazy, then look at white blue versus white and how much brighter white is than white blue. So we're not even into bright colors yet. So we're not even using a lot of vibrancy. You know, look at khaki versus white. Khaki is a dark color next to white. So, you know, we still have a lot of contrast and room to play with to find out how we're going to tell the story, how we're going to bring ambiance onto it. Right now, I'm just studying in color to find out what I like, what I don't like. And I really like this greenish hue that we're getting here. Right? And it's going to give me a really good backdrop to drop other colors onto, like the robe color, or the cloak color, you know, coming in back here. We might do the cloak in a purplish, right? Because we have all this really nice, like Payne's gray into dark plum for the skirt, and then into the purplish kind of reflective almost shading on the metal. So having the purple, like a royal purple wool cloak or something like that, might work really neat. Khaki was all you had for luminosity in last month's challenge. That's not true. You had white blue. You had white blue. One of the brightest colors we make. Oh, for your warm colors, yeah. Yeah, you were kind of struggling for brightness and warmth. Because as soon as white blue was added to it, it just shook it all down to nothing, right? I really like this. I think that jumping from khaki to damn near warm white, I could cheat. Baby J's not here to tell me I can't cheat. Ha ha ha! Jen and Baby J are. I own this place. I'm here alone. I can do what I want. Ha 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 ha. I has this. It's like bright khaki. He said, Jen's like, hi, I'm here. Dang. Mad with power. All right, so again, almost like a bright khaki. Calling it warm white. Oh, yeah. I zoomed in as much. I can give us like a good punch in here. Bang. Get a better feel for what I'm doing here. Well, I like this color. See how every brighter color changes the whole look and feel when you're doing non-metallic? Let's just keep on with this panel here and let's nail it home with this brightest color. How do I want to do this though? I feel like I want to almost now put it right here. Hey Schmidt, yeah, this is like the best time when doing effects like reflective surface painting, things like that, because it really does just kind of put it all home, right? Kind of really wants to be here though, doesn't it? And that makes sense because his arm is here, reflecting back in.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Hey, thank you for that follow. Mash B, thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Who that? You in here? I didn't know you were here. All right, man, take it easy. Thank you so much. How did it all turn out? It looks great. Fantastic. When do you think we'll get a chance to start looking at it? A couple years? Okay, chat. I need you to hang on real quick and dial 911 because somebody's about to die.
I'd say.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it came out really good.
Awesome.
I'll send you guys some screens.
Perfect, man. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Wonderful Christmas Sushi shot our new commercial today. If you've just joined us or came in late, filmed whole new commercial today and had an absolute blast with it. Go so you can see the difference just that color gives us. Versus how it looks on the crotch plate there, right? Again, remember, this is kind of our, if I back out, this is our money shot, right? Like that, pretty much. So I want to keep that brightness where your eye's focusing. I've kind of got this linear from his shoulder down his hips area of brightness that's going to flow across the rib plate, the halberd, the shoulders, right? All of that. Right, we'll mimic that down the cylinder of the arm, which will be really nice. Right. The goblet will probably be a gold, like a pure gold. Yeah, that's my thought. So that I don't have to do a whole lot of yellow gold. That's why I chose the bronze on the armor, I think. Like, one of the big reasons why I was like, you know what? This will be really good to do the armor this way. Very cold metallic that could almost be some magical silver, right? The warm white that I'm dealing with is one of the newer colors that will be coming out, and it actually has a more satin sheen to it. So for doing this type of work, it gives us a nice punch of brightness above its weight class because it's a shinier paint than our matte finishes. So one of the things that a lot of painters really like to do is as they go in on their non-metallic, they like to use a satin or gloss paint for that final highlight, so you actually get more shine. Not very many of us want shine across the entire body of the model, so you don't want to be using gloss or satin paint for your whole model. But if you use ultra matte paint like Acryl at the beginning, and then when you go in to do the final spot highlights, shine spots like what I'm doing now, then all of a sudden using a reflective paint can be really neat. Just gives your highlights that extra punch. A satin medium or a yeah, we'll be doing a satin black. We already have it. It's been sitting on my desk for over a year now. We just haven't had the right moment to release it. I wanted to have more. I didn't want to just release the satin black. I know it sounds silly, but we don't have any other satin paints, and black was the only one. Now we have a whole series of satin paints. That lets us now start releasing other satin. So satin black will be there. It is not part of the next set, unfortunately, but it will follow closely with it. It may actually release at the same time, but not be part of that set. The next signature colors that we have planned have a lot of satins in them. That's what I'm painting with right now. It may not have been obvious, but that's what this is. We also be offering satin sheets, only pillowcases. We decided against the sheets. It was going to be a real pain in the butt. So, but pillowcases are nice and easy to maintain in stock here. Much smaller to ship, less weight. Right? They just tick more boxes for us. Plus, if you're a drooler when you sleep, right? Nothing to be ashamed of, but if you drool in your sleep, then satin pillowcases are the best because it's kind of like owning a slip and slide that only functions when you're not awake. Okay? Which is really, it can be really cool. I know it sounds kind of like a drag, but bear with me here. It's actually really fun. Droolers Anonymous. I only drool when dreaming of Acryl. Ah! Don't throw the paintbrush, dumb man. Not what we do. All right. I'm loving it. What do you guys think? That'll work good for the color of the armor in general. You get kind of a grayish blue flesh tone. Bring some other warm colors in through the leathers, robe, all that. The armor will be kind of the coolest temperature-wise color on the model, I think. Hobby nerd sheets would be hilarious. We just need one pillow that says hobby and the other pillow that says nerd. Lumberjack Tim, I painted eyes and they look good. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. I painted this. It looks pretty okay. Off to a good start with the armor, I think. Again, we'll fine-tune this side once we have more of the other stuff. We've got this up top. I don't think that'll reflect much down low, but the cape will reflect back into this. But I really like that green. That works really well. I only have a little of that as it moves from the shine here into the mid-tone and the shadow of the arm. I like it. And this part that we missed entirely that I gotta come back to. Soren the Blood Thief. I thin my paints with the water on my brush. I use a dry palette, actually. I think if I pull up the tutorial cam here, does that work? Oh, we don't have the frame. Is the frame turned off? It is. Tutorial frame. Bam. No, it's better the other way, wasn't it? There you go. I use a dry palette, so it just has a big clump of dry paint on it right now. And then I just use the moisture on my brush, right? So whatever wetness, the particular brush. I've been painting most of this with the number 1 and the number 2 synthetic brushes from our line, right? So the number 1 and the number 2. And I just would like take the number 2, and after I rinse it out in my paint cup, I just have this much water. You can see on there, yeah, like that. See the shine on there? That's however much water your brush will hold. Now, every brush will hold a different amount of water, so there's no real scientific method to this. It's just getting to know your brushes. That's how much water that brush will hold. And then depending on how much thinness I need to the paint as I'm using it, so if I'm just layering and I want a lot of color, then I will take my paper towel, right, that I have over here. Just set it there. Right, so I take my paper towel, and I'll go 1, 2, 3. So now I've taken most of the water off. So now if I show you that same brush, you'll see it doesn't have that same slick shine to it. Doesn't have near as much wetness, but it still has wetness on it so that I can come over here, get a little bit of paint, right? And now when I'm coming over and testing my paint, it'll still be thin enough that I can do a little bit of glazing with or whatever, right? If I want to go thinner than that, leave more water on my brush. If I don't want it, if I want full opacity of my paints, then I don't have very much water at all. You always want some dampness on your brush so that paint draws and flows off nicely. If your brush is completely dry, you're not going to have a good experience. If you're trying to paint, you know, layer style. Do I recommend using a wet palette protocol? Sure. It depends on what you like. Baby J Jordan uses a wet palette every day. So he doesn't use a dry palette at all. He uses our paints on a wet palette 100% of the time. I have just never really cared for wet palettes. Glamidicus, great name. That looks super sleek. Thank you. But yeah, you can use our paints any way you want. Airbrush, brush, you know, however you decide, you can do that and get great results. You know, I just have a method of painting that I've been using for years, and as I've taught people how to glaze, and I've taught people how to, you know, wet blend and two brush blend and all of the techniques that you can do, I always come back to center, which for me is just altering the opacity of my paints with the water on my brush, right? Because then I only need, you know, I can put paint out on a piece of paper, and all I need is a paper towel and a glass of water, and I can paint. I don't ever have to worry about, you know, what I've got, where I'm painting, and any of the tools that I'm using. And I can do everything. And we paint everything here, so it doesn't matter what you want to do. You can use that technique for anything you want. With that much paint on the paper towel, are you scraping the water off the brush? So this is a bad example, yes. Called out. Called out live on stream. Yeah. Yeah, this is bad. This paper towel isn't very absorbent anymore. So what I normally do is I just turn it over to the absorbent side, and then when I'm done there, you can see I've already folded it inside out a couple times. I use this one for dry brushing once, obviously. Right, but once it gets solid, I'll fold it over and use the other side. And then once it gets stiff, I'll fold it over and use the absorbent side. I do 2 paper towels folded over one another when I do mine. There's 2 paper towels here, and I fold it over and then quarter it, and then use that, and then flip it, and then fold it open, and fold it around and use it that way. Right? Efficiency. But this one's seen better days. Like, because I dry brushed on the other side of this one's pretty stiff, and it doesn't even have paint on it. You can see how it's already gotten stuff over there. So, all right. Called out on stream. I'll get new paper towels. Thanks, T. Schmid. Jeez. Jeez. Can't you just let me get away with murder once? I mean, just once. Not like I'm a serial killer. Right, and then just order it and fresh. No, it absorbs water great. Thanks. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Ghost says, I'm stumped right now. I'm painting a decapitated human head. Do you have any ideas of how to paint that up quickly? Decapitated human head? Where is... Do I have any here? Horace had a bunch of them on him, but I don't know where he is. He's out there. I think all of the things on the giant are skulls, aren't they? He just has skulls. But yeah, I like dark flesh as a base tone, or purple. You know, one of the dark colors, and then into greens. Let me go get Horace. Let me go get Horace, and I'll show you. Give me that great zoom, baby. Let's get the extra punch in here, right? So like on these guys, where he's got the heads, it was a lot of like yellow greens or camo greens, and then glazing the flesh over the top. So dark flesh, camo green, and then glazed flesh tones to get it, you know, however lifeless or lifelike you want it. How fresh is it? Right? But the greens help it look kind of bruised and whatever. The more reds that you add to it, obviously, the more, you know, freshly killed it'll look. The more greens, the more dead. So that's my typical way of doing it. I like the yellow greens. You can tell I use the yellow greens a lot for various things that are just, you know, as hints of color to make things look sickly or dead and dying and all that kind of stuff. So Blood Thief, thank you. Yeah, this is Horace. Jordan, who's normally here painting with me, he's homesick today. He and I did a challenge where we both painted the new Horus Ascended. Newer, I guess. He's not brand new anymore. But painted Horus Ascended as kind of a dueling pianos challenge here on stream, and we tied. You guys voted. I blame chat. We tied. Great fun, though. We had a blast showing how you can take different approaches to the same model and achieve amazing results. So I had a lot of fun. And it's a great model. A lot of fun to paint. A lot of doohickeys, right? It's got a lot of freaking stuff all over it. So it's a challenge. As soon as you think you're done, there's 10 things you missed. So, but it was a lot of fun to paint. Great model. Dealer of Death. I mean, the mechs are going great. We have 42 in the same state I left them the other night. I got to where everybody's painted and quote unquote done. I need to highlight more of the green on some of them, I think. I feel like there's a few mechs that don't have the green highlighted very well. Only about a quarter of the whole force has the main body color highlighted, you know, the tannish looking color highlighted. So I need to go back and do that on like all these guys you can't see. So, and then I have to base the last 7 that I added. So if you remember last week, we went in and we added the last 7 that showed up to my force. So I need to, like, this guy really would benefit from some highlighting on the regular armor there, right? So I need to go back in and do all that. But very close. And, you know, so 42 mechs. Lots of robots. Avian, why are you proud of chat? Because they voted for a tie? Oh, me. Studio door has some weight to it. You have to slam the damn thing to get the latch to hit, is why you're hearing it. It's like bonk. Plus, none of the walls in this end of the office go and are like they're not floating. They tie to the beams, but the beams are exposed here, so it's very wonky. So you hear the walls vibrate when we close doors and stuff. Why are you questioning Avian? Are you not proud of us? You voted for a tie, so no, I'm not proud. I'm not proud of you. Baby J's model wasn't even finished yet. He tied with me? What? No, it was a ton of fun. You guys did good. You done good, chat. You were legitimately wondering if there was a super secret benefit to the paint-filled towel? No, it's just laziness, T-Schmidt. You called me out on my laziness. You weren't here to vote, but it should have been a tie. Well, I mean, you're just propagating the lie. You're just keeping the lie going. We need a door greeter, says Mo. Like at every door? Like we just need one everywhere? The other day says, yeah, I'm doing urban bases, so thinking jade or turquoise for the main color, thinking merc or Rasselhag. Oh, for the mechs themselves, and then on the urban base, like concrete style, like tarmac, concrete, blacks, grays, road markings, things like that. That would look really good. Yeah, I just chose the kind of Martian-y earth, the dried, arid wasteland feel, because I felt like it worked really well with the rest of the kind of color scheme we were going for, right? Because these guys are, while they are, they look kind of tan, it's not really, right? We've got all of the purple undertones that bleed out into the pale yellows and greens, believe it or not, that this guy was. All of these were green, and then the pale yellow, and then the flesh wash is what got us into the tan look. But we still have a lot of really cool color undulating underneath the tan base with the green and the shadows that you'll find and the purples that we painted and stuff. So it's a very easy paint job, but it also has a lot going on that keeps them from being just a dull spray of a color and dry brush, which is what I was looking for. I wanted it to be easy, as you guys know, and I think we pulled it off. It looks really good. Coming along. Need to go back and highlight the base armor color on a lot of guys. You wanted it to be a tie. pick which mechs you want or can have in the lances. Yeah, a lot of people just pick what they like. You know, BattleTech can be a game of just have fun, right? But it can also be a game of like I mean, and I'm treating it as fun too. My version of fun is picking all of the mechs that are available to mercenaries at the time that we're playing the campaign, which is the clan invasion, right? So all 42 of my mechs that I have are just painted in that, are picked based on what was actually available at the time. Horace, you live there now. And our boy. Griffin and a Centurion. Yeah, we've got a lot. I mean, you know, I showed them all off the other day. Got a tremendous amount of mechs. I have not divided them up into lances yet, or even companies. I've got 3 companies plus a command squad, so I need to, or a command, whatever you call it. And so I need to divide them up into companies and figure all that stuff out, just for fluff. There's no reason to really need to do it. You can combine them however you want for the task at hand, but while you wait for your overweight lance to arrive, what is your favorite light mech? I was asked what my favorite mechs at every weight class were. And the other day I said the Javelin. The Fire Javelin in particular. And so I probably stick with that. Close second is the Raptor, which is one of the very early Inner Sphere Omnimex. So, but I think the Fire Javelin, right? Something about having 7 medium lasers on a 6.9 mover. Doesn't piss me off. It might be 7.11. I think it's 6.9 though. Javelin is so gangly. Who cares, man? I'm not here for looks. I'm here for the jump jets and the beating you up really badly part of it. I don't care how it looks. I think the Javelin looks really good. You do plan to run a ridiculous amount of urban mechs at least once. I hate the urban mech, so it's just not a thing I like. IS forever, yeah. All right, gang, I'm done. Thank you for hanging out, watching some paint dry with me. I think we got a bunch of really good progress done. If you were not here earlier in the stream, you're just tuning in late. We were working on the bronze armor on our Death Knight. Wonderful miniature by Journeyman Miniatures. Fantastic. We are just now starting to dig into the cleaner portions of painting by doing the bronze and figuring out our colors. I'll adjust color as we go, but I'm very happy with how it's looking. Considering that was, how many colors was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 colors so far? Not bad. Not bad. So thanks for hanging out, watching some paint dry. Make sure to click the links that Jen is throwing up in the chat there. The store, the Discord, and the FLGS link will take you to stores that carry our stuff. The store link will take you straight to our store where you can buy our stuff. And the Discord link will bring you into our Discord server with thousands of awesome artists just like you that can hang out and get inspiration from, ask questions, not just about our products, but about painting in general. The whole goal of Monument Hobbies is to help you get more confident with your painting. Enjoy your time behind the brush even more. Come hang out with us. Do it. Do it now! So have a wonderful night. We're going to find somebody to raid, so stick around for that. Show love in the chat we wind up in. We will, of course, be back again tomorrow because we stream 5 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday like tomorrow from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Pacific, so a little bit earlier in the day than today. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays like today, we start at that 2 p.m. slot and we go till 5. A little bit later for a little bit longer. Right? 5 chances a week to get to come and hang out with us, tell fart jokes, watch painting, ask goofy questions, and have a good time. So we look forward to seeing you back here. Have a wonderful evening. Stick around for the raid. See you on the flip side.